What does today's congressional hearing on Capitol Hill really mean? Today we had 5 CEOs from major companies such as Meta, which you know is Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. We had TikTok, or also X, Twitter. We had Snap. It used to be called Snapchat. Now it's Snap. These companies are changing their names. And Discord, which nobody seems to know about, which we've done here at the Warriors a video on it. Discord is a messaging app. It's very dangerous. It's open to predation because the kids are openly talking with adults, and the age verification is basically anybody can sign on. So the predators are always wherever the children are. But let's talk about today what happened on Capitol Hill. I don't have high hopes for anything coming out of Congress. Again, bipartisan, grilling these 5 CEOs, including Mark Zuckerberg. And I'll tell you why. We've been here before. Last year, we had a similar hearing. And about a little over 2 years ago, we had the Facebook whistleblower, if you remember that, Frances Haugen. And as an employee, ex-employee of Facebook, she came forward with what was happening and internal memos and their thoughts on children, on youth. The bottom line is this is all you need to know. Children are the product. Children make the money. Now today, once again, in watching this Senate Judiciary Committee grilling, this hearing, of course, Mark Zuckerberg, yes, we want to do everything to keep kids safe. Yes, coming out of X and Snap, Discord and TikTok. But here's what tells me everything. Of course, they're playing to the audience. Of course, they're going to say that. They're under oath. We know, we have the facts, we have the studies. They are not doing anything much to keep kids safe. Well, I will also tell you, I'm very hopeful because at the same time, the galley was filled with parents holding up signs. Now, of course, the media won't show you this, holding up signs of their dead children, wearing T-shirts of their dead or harmed children. And they did that the entire time during this, it was about a 4-hour hearing. And it was completely, here's all you need to know. 5 platforms, 5 companies, 3 of them, only 2 came of their own accord, and that would be Facebook, Meta, and that would be TikTok. Now, the other 3 companies were served with subpoenas. They were not going to come at all, and that would be Discord and Snap and Twitter. I had to think about that. X, Twitter, I always stop with that. I really should call it X because that's what it's called now, the company, but I have such a hard time saying X. They had to be served subpoenas to come and talk about child safety because the congressional hearing was about what are you doing to hold, what kind of safety measures. Now, we right now have 6 bipartisan bills waiting to be passed in Congress. And X said, their CEO today, Linda Yaccarino, well, we support the Stop CSAM Act and we will work with you. And that is Stop Child Sexual Abuse Material. But we've heard this before. So that leads me to say, between the 3 subpoenas, we've heard this talk before. We heard a lot of facts, especially out of Senator Marsha Blackburn, who clearly outlined. Meta in particular has groups and lawyers and fighting every step of the way, Congress, to hold them accountable. The Stop CSAM Act is allowing that child, that youth, that one harmed online, to go ahead and sue if their image isn't taken down, which, look, we just had a story that came out today where, and I don't want to go into detail, a live streaming of a decapitation. I guess I did go into detail. And that video was kept up for 6 hours on YouTube. Why? Why, when we can talk about certain subjects or topics or people and perhaps be censored, but this horrible child sexual abuse material is allowed to flourish, escalate? It's rampant online. Why just the National Center on Missing and Exploited Children came out with their 2023 reports, just to them, of online exploitation. 36 million reports in 1 year. 36 million. The year before, 2022, 32 million. That's 4 million more reports. So it's there. And where do most of these reports, what platform? Mostly from Meta, because the kids, they may not be on Facebook, but they are on Instagram and WhatsApp, and that's part of Meta. So all of this today, the takeaway will be, of course, we'll be following up. We'll keep you in the loop. We need you when we have these take actions, the Stop CSAM Act, to sign on to them. Here's why I'm hopeful. Many more parents, guardians, family members are sounding the alarm, are raising the issue, are talking about it. The fact that these parents, I can't think of anything worse. Your child commits suicide. Your child did a TikTok challenge and ended up crippled. Bullying. All of these issues that we all know about. The fact that people are coming together in numbers. There was also a rally right after this, 3 o'clock on Capitol Hill, with all of these parents and family members. So it's starting to bubble up. Thank goodness it's time. Because these issues, we didn't know the harms caused by these fun little platforms 10 years ago, Facebook. And remember, it started as MySpace years ago, and that just kind of went away. But a lot has happened since 1996 when the internet was born, and all of these apps and platforms and gaming and everything has come to be. And you know what? We live in a digital world, and you know this. So we have to take action. We have to be the community that creates change. We have to talk to our children open and honestly about all of this. Of course, you can always go to lynswarriors.org. There's so much good and free information. You can always write to me, Lynn at Lynn's Warriors. We have to be on top of what I consider 2024, the number one issue. Look at everything that is stemming from this child exploitation, this child trafficking, this slavery, crime, drugs. It's all tied in together. Our children not learning. All kinds of things are happening. The way children are treating each other because they're on their devices, because they're seeing things online they shouldn't be seeing, or, it's just a free-for-all. In Washington, they call it the Wild West. So it's up to us. So today's 118th Congress, I'll give them a star for at least holding and demanding that these 5 CEOs from these big tech companies come forward. I do have to ask, where was Apple? Apple was at the last congressional hearing, not there today. I'm going to be telling you more about, let me just tell you a little bit about Apple right now. Apple, the Warriors, we are part of something called the HEAT Initiative, hashtag HEAT Initiative. Please look it up. Also on our website, lynswarriors.org. Apple is allowing CSAM, child sexual abuse material, on their iCloud photos, images, not taking it down. Apple is also sponsoring the upcoming Super Bowl halftime show to the tune of $50 million. Apple, just put all the dots together. You've got Apple, nobody's talking about. Where were they today? Then you have the Super Bowl, one of the biggest human trafficking events in the United States every single year. Despite what you might read in the media or hear, people put out, myth. No. Listen, it could be a concert, it could be a sporting event. Anywhere there is a large group of people, there is human trafficking. There is forced labor. There's coercion. It all goes hand in hand. People are flying in. February 11th is the Super Bowl. They fly in. They drive in. Money to be made. Money to be made. So we have to keep an eye on everything. We have to know what to do. If you see something, say something. Go to law enforcement. Call 911. You won't get in trouble. But it's all around. So the Super Bowl, the focus is on Taylor Swift, and that's another program. But, if all this emphasis was put on protecting children, on looking, learning indicators about traffickers and what to do. Now, certainly, starting 2 years ago, signs at every Super Bowl are posted around in local restaurants, motels, hotels, any kind of transportation hub with the National Human Trafficking Hotline, 888-373-7888, to make everybody aware of there is a number you can reach out to, you can report, you can just call to get information. We need to make that we need to make that a 3-digit number like we did with the suicide hotline, which is now 988, no longer a big long number. That started about a year and a half ago, just 988. We need to work on a 3-digit code for the National Human Trafficking Hotline. But again, I wanted to address today's congressional hearing. It is great to raise awareness. I do feel like our members of Congress, I call it a dog and pony show. I want to see real action. I want to see real solutions. I want to see how we can all work together to keep our kids safe online. In the meantime, it's up to you. It's up to you to know what your kids are doing online as much as you can. What apps, what platforms are they on? Who are their friends? Certainly shouldn't be strangers. There are plenty of parental controls on every device. You just have to know how to use them. And that's why you can write to me. You can YouTube anything and look up directions. You can go to the platforms themselves. They have safety features and filters. They're a little murky. You can go to our great friend Chris McKenna, protectyoungeyes.com, find out about every single device. What is it? How do I keep my kids safe? So you've got some homework. But let's just say today's congressional hearing, I'll leave you with this thought. It is still up to Congress to pass this bipartisan legislation to keep kids safe, and they are not doing their job. So let's go. We know it's bad. These platforms are getting a free ride. They want to make money. Children are the product. Who suffers in all of this? The children. Keep an eye on them. Talk to them. Remember, hashtag community creates change. And always follow lynswarriors.org and be a warrior.